What are the necessary milestones to co-create a new economy? I just thought I'd start by looking at what's already happened in the last 5 or 10 years. So, public and consumer awareness. Public perceptions have changed, and since the recession, the economy is no longer an abstract or an academic concept to most people. And I think everyone now realises that the status quo is not good for us, is not working in the interest of the common good. We've got ongoing analysis and critique of the finance sector and why it has and how it has become so detached from ordinary business and everyday life. And we have a younger generation in particular that's grown up with the understanding that we have a role to play in preserving the environment, in understanding our supply chains, and in being having a say in the economy and its link to social justice. What else has happened? Businesses have moved beyond CSR. So 10 years ago, corporate social responsibility was the big term of the day, and I think that is now evolving so that it's no longer an add-on, but businesses now see ethics and responsibility as part of their core function in society. And this is a reconfiguration, if you like, of business purpose, which is beyond profit alone. And that's really because business, I think, understands that it cannot succeed in a suspicious and cynical society and needs to work alongside the human component, if you like. It's as much about de-risking the business model, making it future-proofed, as it is about the sort of social responsibility in the sort of CSR sense. And the third thing that I think is a big development in the last 5 or 10 years is technology allowing diversification and disintermediation of the market. We've seen this in technology which connects finance to the real economy and allows disintermediated lending and investment, for example. Crowdfunding models do a lot of this. The on-demand economy allows people to, this is technology allowing people to be market participants without the intermediary of an employer necessarily. And I suppose a more practical realisation amongst people that money is not the only currency because of the other technologies that allow other marketplaces for other resources. And we've seen the growth of collaborative consumption in which people can pool our resources as well as our consumer choices. So if that's already what has happened, and I'm sure there's plenty of other things, but those are the 3 main things that I thought I'd touch on, what now needs to happen in the next 10 years? On the public awareness side of things, I think that needs to be converted more now into agency. So from public awareness to public agency, we still feel, although we know what's wrong, we still feel relatively helpless in how to address the problems with the economy. And so I think there's much more work needed in how we collectively can take control over our economic destinies, not just through our consumption behaviours, but sort of a more widespread understanding of what it means to be an economic citizen and how we can be the change we want to see. So that's the first thing. The second thing sort of relates to my comments about businesses moving beyond CSR. We now, because of that, have an economy that places a premium on relationships, but we need to make sure in the next 10 years that that is converted to a premium on people. So at the moment, we have brands and lifestyle products that try to have relationships with people. We have larger businesses that put a lot of emphasis on workplace citizenship and agency, but that much more of that needs to happen. And it's not just about large businesses. Community-led economies at a local level have enormous potential to grow as big businesses start to realise that they can specialise in sort of big relationships. I think there also needs to be more emphasis on the other side of the coin and the community relationships which only locally led businesses can achieve. And I think as part of that sort of re-emphasis on the human side of things, we also need to recalibrate the idea of status in our economy. So carers, teachers, health professionals, those in charge of the human side of things will need to sort of become more recognised and have more status in society. In the age of the robot, with sort of increasing automation, those are the jobs which need to be recognised as the ones which hold the premium. And then thirdly, technology does allow many opportunities and many things, but it also is a huge risk in the next 10 years. So the internet is one of our biggest monopolies, and this isn't even about capitalism. It takes us back to a feudalist system whereby you have information barons who hold all of the data, and then the rest of us who just are digital tenants in sort of the Google age. And this is data serfdom, if you like. Google's not a free product. We are the product. And collaborative consumption is not the same as the sharing economy, no matter how progressive it is. You know, Uber's not the sharing economy. It's a transaction. We are still paying people for a service, and so we have to be very wary of this rentier model whereby other people are making money from our assets. So remembering that money isn't the only currency, and we recognise that now, but we need to realise when we are using other currencies, and we need to be aware of the assets which we are giving away for free. And that, I think, is going to be one of the biggest challenges of the next 10 years. So technological advances are great in many ways, but they must include co-ownership in the future of the platforms themselves, at the very least, of co-ownership of our contribution that we're making to those platforms. So I think all of this requires a new kind of economic literacy. It means that people sort of should be developing a better understanding of the meaning and purpose of money as it exists within the economy, and in many ways that's a tool which allows exchange between people and making those sort of connections, but also understanding our assets and our currency in the digital world beyond money itself, and applying a better understanding in the digital age. And that's all very high level. I don't necessarily know how we're going to get there. Maybe that's the purpose of today. But I think having a better kind of economic literacy will help us sort of exercise that resilience in future. A lot of commentators point towards another financial crash, and in order to survive that and really develop the economy that we want to see, I think we just need to be a bit cleverer about our understanding of the economy and how we relate to it.